Welcome to the darkest chapter in true crime history, a tale that will chill you to your core. A story where innocence is lost and justice is denied. This is the McMartin Preschool Trial. This isn't just another true crime story, this is a descent into madness, a journey into the heart of a nightmare. And once you enter, you may never escape. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew. The truth is far more terrifying. Imagine sending your child to a place of learning, of laughter, of love, a place where their innocence is supposed to be cherished. Now, imagine that place transformed into a house of horrors. The McMartin Preschool in California, a place where trust was shattered and the unthinkable became reality. Parents' worst nightmares became their daily torment. This is the story of how a community was torn apart by accusations so horrific, so unbelievable, that they defied comprehension. This is a story of betrayal. It began with a whisper, a single accusation, then another and another, until the whispers became a roar. The McMartin Preschool became the epicenter of a national nightmare. Allegations of satanic rituals, sexual abuse, and unspeakable acts of cruelty. The accusations were so shocking, so monstrous, that they sent shockwaves across the nation. But were these accusations based in truth, or were they the product of something far more sinister? This is where our journey begins, into the heart of the McMartin Preschool Trial. Before the shadows fell, before the accusations flew, the McMartin Preschool was a place of joy. Founded in the 1960s, it was a family affair, a place where children learned, played, and grew. Virginia McMartin, the matriarch of the family, was a beloved figure. She poured her heart and soul into the preschool. Parents trusted her. Children adored her. It seemed like a little slice of paradise. Peggy McMartin Bucky, Virginia's daughter-in-law, was a fixture at the preschool. Her son Ray helped out with the children. The McMartin family was the preschool, their lives intertwined with the lives of the children they cared for. The McMartin Preschool was more than just a school. It was a community, a place where parents felt connected, supported, and reassured. Little did they know that this idyllic facade masked a terrifying truth. The McMartin Preschool attracted families from all walks of life. Parents from Manhattan Beach, a quiet, affluent community in Southern California, entrusted their children to the McMartin family. The preschool had a stellar reputation. Parents were drawn to the preschool's nurturing environment and its focus on creativity and play-based learning. The McMartins believed in fostering a love of learning through fun and engaging activities. The children thrived under their care. The McMartin Preschool was more than just a daycare. It was a lifeline for busy parents. It was a place where they knew their children were safe, loved, and well cared for. They had no reason to suspect that anything was wrong. The McMartins had built a legacy of trust, a legacy that would soon be shattered. The seeds of doubt were about to be sown, and the consequences would be devastating. The first cracks in the McMartin facade appeared in 1983. A mother accused Ray Bucky, the grandson of the preschool's founder, of inappropriate behavior with her son. Whispers of abuse began to circulate. The allegations were shocking, unthinkable. The police launched an investigation. Parents were horrified. They struggled to reconcile the accusations with the image they had of the beloved preschool. The police sent out letters to parents of current and former McMartin students, urging them to question their children about potential abuse. The letters ignited a firestorm of fear and paranoia. The McMartin Preschool, once a symbol of safety and trust, was now shrouded in suspicion and fear. The allegations, once whispers, were about to become a deafening roar, and no one would escape unscathed. It all started with a mother's intuition, a gut feeling that something was wrong. Her son, a student at McMartin, had been acting strangely, withdrawn, fearful. He complained of stomach aches and nightmares. When his mother questioned him, his answers were vague at first. Then, the unthinkable. He spoke of secret games at the preschool, games that involved touching, hurting and terrifying rituals. The mother, Judy Johnson, was immediately alarmed. She contacted the police, reporting her son's claims of abuse at the hands of Ray Buckey, a teacher at the preschool. Little did she know, her actions would unleash a firestorm. The police, faced with these disturbing allegations, had no choice but to investigate. But were these claims the product of a child's imagination or a glimpse into a terrifying reality? Section 2. Unraveling Sanity. The allegations against Ray Buckey sent shockwaves through the community. Parents, once trusting and carefree, were now gripped by fear and uncertainty. The line between reality and nightmare began to blur. As the investigation unfolded, the accusations took an even darker turn. Children began to describe bizarre and disturbing rituals at the preschool. They spoke of being taken to secret rooms, abused in ritualistic ceremonies, and forced to watch animals being tortured. These allegations, fueled by fear and speculation, spread like wildfire. The media, sensing a sensational story, descended upon Manhattan Beach, amplifying the panic and turning the McMartin Preschool into a national spectacle. Ray Buckey, once a beloved teacher, became the face of evil. The accusations against him, though unproven, transformed him into a monster in the eyes of many. The presumption of innocence seemed to vanish overnight. Section 3. The Accusations Multiply. To uncover the truth, the police enlisted the help of Children's Institute International, a child abuse advocacy group. CII developed unorthodox interview techniques using anatomically correct dolls and leading questions to elicit information from the children. These techniques, though controversial, proved effective in one chilling aspect. They elicited a torrent of accusations. More and more children, influenced by the suggestive questioning and the fear gripping the community, began to tell their own stories of abuse. The accusations grew increasingly outlandish. Children spoke of being flushed down toilets to secret underground tunnels, witnessing satanic rituals, and being forced to dig up graves. The lines between reality and fantasy blurred beyond recognition. The McMartin Preschool, once a place of laughter and learning, was now synonymous with horror. The accusations, once a whisper, had become a deafening roar, threatening to consume everyone and everything in its path. Section 4. Panic grips Manhattan Beach. Fear and paranoia spread through Manhattan Beach like a virus. Parents, once close friends and neighbors, turned on each other, their trust shattered by the horrifying allegations. The community was torn apart. The McMartin case became a national obsession. The media, hungry for sensational stories, fueled the firestorm, turning the trial into a media circus. The children, caught in the crossfire, became pawns in a game of fear and manipulation. The McMartin Preschool, once a symbol of innocence and trust, was now a crime scene. The building itself, once filled with the laughter of children, stood empty and silent, a chilling reminder of the darkness that had descended upon Manhattan Beach. The stage was set for one of the most sensational, controversial, and ultimately tragic trials in American history. The McMartin Preschool Trial was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same. The McMartin case was a media sensation. Newspapers across the country splashed the allegations across their front pages. Headlines screamed of satanic rituals and unspeakable abuse. The more shocking the claim, the bigger the headline. Reporters camped outside the courthouse, eager for any scrap of information. News vans lined the streets. The McMartin Preschool Trial became a macabre spectacle, a 24/7 media circus, and the children, became commodities. Every detail, no matter how far-fetched, was dissected and debated on talk shows and news programs. Experts with little to no experience in child abuse cases offered their opinions as facts. The media frenzy fed the public's fears, turning suspicion into conviction. The constant barrage of sensationalized reporting had a chilling effect. It created an atmosphere of hysteria where accusations were accepted as truth. The media, whether intentionally or not, was feeding the flames of a witch hunt. The McMartin trial was one of the first high-profile cases to be heavily televised. Cameras captured every tear, every outburst, every dramatic moment. The courtroom became a stage, and the defendants, whether guilty or innocent, were the unwilling actors in a national drama. Millions of Americans tuned in, captivated by the salacious details of the case. The line between justice and entertainment became increasingly blurred. The McMartin trial wasn't just a legal proceeding, it was a national obsession, a reality show playing out in living rooms across the country. The constant media coverage had a profound impact on the trial. Potential jurors were bombarded with information, much of it biased and inflammatory, making it almost impossible to find an impartial jury. The courtroom had become a pressure cooker of public opinion. The judge, the lawyers, even the jury were all acutely aware of the cameras and the millions watching. The pressure was immense. The McMartin trial had become a referendum on fear, justice, and the power of the media. In the court of public opinion, the McMartin family had already been tried and convicted. The media's relentless focus on the accusations, often presented without context or balance, had created a climate where it was almost impossible for them to receive a fair hearing. The children's testimonies, often elicited through controversial and suggestive interview techniques, were presented as ironclad evidence. The possibility that the children may have been influenced, coerced, or even coached was rarely acknowledged by the media. The presumption of innocence, a cornerstone of the American justice system, seemed to have been forgotten amidst the media frenzy. The McMartin family, facing a barrage of accusations and condemned by a court of public opinion, found themselves fighting for their lives, their reputations forever tarnished. The McMartin Preschool Trial became a cautionary tale about the dangers of media sensationalism, the fragility of truth, and the devastating consequences of unchecked fear and suspicion. It was a stark reminder that justice is not always served, and sometimes the innocent become casualties in the pursuit of a story. After years of pre-trial hearings and motions, the McMartin trial finally began in 1987. The courtroom was transformed into a battleground where the prosecution and the defense would wage war with the lives of the McMartin family hanging in the balance. Leading the prosecution was Lael Rubin, a seasoned prosecutor known for her tenacity and her unwavering belief in the accusations against the McMartins. Facing her was Dean Gitz, a skilled defense attorney determined to prove his client's innocence. The prosecution's case rested heavily on the testimonies of the children, who described horrific acts of abuse in harrowing detail. However, the defense argued that the children's memories had been tainted by suggestive interview techniques and the pervasive atmosphere of fear. With the eyes of the nation upon them, the jury was tasked with the impossible: to separate truth from fiction, to sift through the mountains of evidence and conflicting testimonies, and to ultimately decide the fate of the accused. The McMartin trial dragged on for an excruciating 6 years, becoming the longest and most expensive criminal trial in American history. The courtroom became a crucible, testing the limits of the justice system and the human toll of such a highly charged case. Expert witnesses on both sides presented conflicting opinions on the reliability of child testimony, the validity of recovered memories, and the nature of child sexual abuse. The jury was bombarded with complex and often contradictory information. As the trial progressed, cracks began to appear in the prosecution's case. Inconsistencies in the children's testimonies, questionable interview techniques, and a lack of physical evidence cast doubt on the veracity of the accusations. The defense argued that the McMartins were victims of a witch hunt, fueled by media sensationalism, parental fear, and the overzealousness of the prosecution. The jury was left to grapple with the possibility that innocent people had been falsely accused. In 1990, after years of testimony and millions of dollars spent, the jury returned with their verdict. Ray Buckey, who had spent 5 years in jail awaiting trial, was acquitted on 52 of 65 counts. The jury deadlocked on the remaining charges. Peggy McMartin Buckey, who had also endured years of legal battles and public scorn, was acquitted on all charges. The McMartin Preschool Trial, which had captivated and horrified the nation, ended not with a bang, but with a whimper. Despite the acquittals, the McMartin family emerged from the trial irrevocably scarred. Their reputations were tarnished, their lives shattered, their legacy forever linked to one of the most sensationalized and controversial cases in American history. The McMartin Preschool Trial serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria, the power of the media to shape public opinion, and the fragility of justice. It is a cautionary tale that continues to resonate today, reminding us that the pursuit of justice must always be tempered by reason, fairness, and a commitment to truth. The McMartin Preschool Trial ended in acquittals, but the lives of those involved were, forever changed. The McMartin family, once respected members of their community, were left emotionally and financially drained. The weight of the accusations, though unproven, continued to hang over them. Peggy McMartin Buckey, who had maintained her innocence throughout the ordeal, attempted to rebuild her life. She spoke out against the injustices she faced, the toll the trial took on her family, and the dangers of false accusations. But the scars ran deep. Ray Buckey, who bore the brunt of the accusations, retreated from the public eye, seeking anonymity and a chance to heal. The years spent in jail awaiting trial, the constant scrutiny and the weight of the allegations left him emotionally drained and deeply affected. The community of Manhattan Beach remained deeply divided. Some parents continued to believe in the accusations, finding it difficult to accept that the horrors their children described were not real. Others rallied around the McMartins, convinced of their innocence. The McMartin Preschool Trial raised serious questions about the American justice system's ability to handle complex child abuse cases. It exposed the limitations of child testimony and the potential for suggestive interview techniques to influence memories. The trial became a cautionary tale, highlighting the need for balanced investigative techniques and protecting the rights of the accused. The McMartin Preschool Trial had a chilling effect on American society, contributing to a climate of fear and suspicion. Parents became increasingly anxious and vigilant. Heightened security measures and scrutiny of childcare providers followed. The trial's legacy changed the way society viewed childhood. It ended in acquittals but highlighted the fragility of childhood innocence. The McMartin Preschool Trial left a trail of devastation. The real victims, the children, their innocence was stolen, their childhoods forever marked. Thrust into the spotlight, they became pawns. Their testimonies scrutinized and dissected. The long-term effects are immeasurable. The McMartin Preschool Trial cast a long shadow, a chilling reminder of mass hysteria and the fallibility of memory. It exposed the dark underbelly of the justice system, media manipulation, and the allure of a sensational story. The trial forced a national reckoning with child abuse allegations and the need for reliable evidence. It sparked a conversation about investigative techniques and the rights of the accused. The McMartin Preschool Trial stands as a cautionary tale, reminding us that justice must be tempered by reason and fairness.